Bill, one of the things that you talk about in your book and I talk about in mine is branding. And in today's market, it is even more important that the client have some edge that gives them a distinguishing difference between themselves and their competitors because they don't hire two people for the same job. So would you talk a little bit about the kind of branding we do for our clients here and why you think that gives them the most effective edge?
Okay, let me address that from a couple of different perspectives, Fred. First of all, once we've defined what it is that a client does and what their real skill sets are and their capacities to serve the need of a buying population, the marketplace, then we have to be able to communicate that in a few traditional forms, resumes, cover letters, those types of normal communications. Right. But we go one step further by creating a webfolio, a means by which a client can present his or her information to the marketplace, where there's a lot more information. It's categorized in such a way that the buyer gets to look at how the client does it. Not just what can you do, but what makes you good at it. How do you define yourself differently? What are the competencies that you bring to the table? So from a presentation standpoint, it's very powerful. We tell our clients to walk through that folio with people, and it gives them a chance to dialogue, to create communications, to understand the depth of who that person is. The other thing that we bring to the table that I don't think a lot of people understand as far as its importance is behavioral interviewing. What you do may get you in the door. How you do it is what's going to get you hired. And our job is to understand how a person does something, get them to think about the other layers beneath the surface of what makes them special. Personality traits, character traits, passions, interests, things that a buyer is saying more often than not, you know, you're the person I feel I want to hire.
Well, I know today it's not IQ, it's EQ.
Exactly.
And the EQ is defined in 76 competency behaviors. And I think most executives maybe use 20 of these in their career as they're defined today. How do you interview for those, Bill? How do you bring those out so that I know the other clients are not bringing them out, so ours do. So how do you get a client to do that?
That's a very good question. First, you have to know what they are. And one of the most amazing things about working with people is that we tend to do the things we do well without ever thinking about it. We just do it. And one of the challenges as an executive is you can't just do it, because if you're going into a new marketplace, the marketplace doesn't have that experience.
That's right.
So we have to get them to understand how they do it and then create a communication strategy that allows them to share not only what they did, the results that they were able to achieve, but how they did it. What were the competencies beneath the surface that made them good at it, made them special at it, and made them competitive in terms of the results that they bring to the table.
So you think that's why our clients are getting jobs every week?
Absolutely. I think more than anything else, again, it combines a number of factors. One, if you know your product, you can sell it more effectively. Number two, if you know who the buyers are and what their needs are, you can communicate just that portion of your value that someone was willing to buy. Do you realize two facts? Over 90% of all the positions that are filled don't look anything like the job that was originally posted. All right, so it's a changing environment. So a good interviewer has to know how that change is going to impact their value in the future of that company. Number two, the individual coming into that position may have a preconceived notion of their value, but they cannot dump 400 pounds of information on the table and expect the buyer to think, wow, more is better. Oddly enough, our clients are successful because they learn to keep their mouths shut and ask good questions and discover what the real need is, and literally sell maybe 15 to 20% of their competency and get bought on that level, and then negotiate the other 80 to 100% of what they bring to the table that increases their economic value.